Good morning and welcome to Inside Liberia. Stay tuned. Good morning and welcome to Inside Liberia. This morning, we will be bringing to you news and some information in and around Monrovia. We will be taking that from one of our reporters, Abraham Colley. We will also be talking or discussing the issue as a concern dual citizenship and the Pledge of Allegiance. So stay tuned and stay with us and do us a favor, share the broadcast. And today promised to be another interesting discussion. And I want to say you are welcome. This is Inside Liberia, and from all the staff and um, the management of Inside Liberia, we are happy to be back again this morning. Abraham, you are welcome.
Thank you, Mommy, and it's a pleasure again being back. Let me say good morning to you and good morning to the host, Mr. James Jensen, and the rest of the team and those who are following us at this time. To get all of the informations that are circulating within Liberia and the world at large.
Thank you, Abraham. It's good to have you with us as always. Mr. Jensen, you are welcome.
Yeah, thanks to you, Patient and Abraham. Once again, I'm James Jensen. Um, I'm glad to be part of the discussion this morning. The topic this morning is interesting and it's a national issue. I know we all may have heard about dual citizenship before, and the issue of the pledge is a civic duty on Liberians. So yes, we are glad to be part of the discussion, and we hope that we'll be able to add meaning to the debate as to dual citizenship and that of why the pledge.
Thank you, thank you. Today I'm sitting in as the presenter, and so I'm going to be doing the questioning today. So, Abraham, you in Liberia? We want first-hand information. What's going on? What's the news in Liberia this morning?
Well, thank you again, and it's always a pleasure to be on this platform to inform our people. As you may be aware, about a week after the president of the Republic of Liberia uh, participation in the Antalya Diplomacy Forum in Turkey uh, on yesterday, he departed for Dubai, where he's going to attend the closure of the uh, the World Expo Dubai 2020 that commenced at a time where the cultural ambassador, Madam Judy NT, took some, traditional people, cultural true dancers to Dubai, and that delegation was led by the Minister of Information, uh, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, Legia Reni, and then the president left yesterday to go at the climax of that event in Dubai. So as we speak currently, the president is in Dubai, is out of the country. And Another one is that, as you may be aware, so the issue of this entire Liberty Party up and down, uh, we reported that the party, the faction of John Kanga Lawrence, resigned or partly withdraw their membership from the collaborating political parties. That they are no longer member of the CPP. They are going on their own. But the embattled chairman, Musa Hassan Belete, came up uh, by showing the party's commitment to the CPP. So where we stand is this. Musa Belete was been asked, and he said that Yobli Kanga Lawrence is a expelled standard bearer from the party. Darius DeLon is a expelled member of the party. Steve Zago is a expelled member of the party. Jacob Smith is a expelled member of the party. So, as far as he's concerned, he's a chairman and he's the acting political leader of the party because uh, they are withdrawing from the party as well. He see as no harm, and he also asked as to what led to the disorganizing of the collaborating political parties. And he said the Unity Party hierarchies, we mean Star Wars or puppet members of the party, uh, was the one who disorganized the collaborating political parties. And in that light, you were able to say that all of the Unity Party members want to hold all of the key positions within a party, within an organization rather. They want to hold all of the, key position in the organization and just want to bring other people on board and make them to be spectator. That of which uh, they saw as a denigrating stuff to them, and then some of them were able, as for he was able to be part of the advisory council and also on the executive committee of the collaborating political party. So the Unity Party saw it as a threat to them. His alliance with the ANC also helped in the process because they were like carrying the organization on one side, and then he being so smart was able to pair with the Alternative National Congress. So as you explained, he said they will not feed no candidate in the upcoming by-election in Lofa County May 2022. According to him, it is based in a constitution or the rules that govern the CPP. There is a portion of it that states if you withdraw from the organization or from the collaborating parties, I mean, uh, wherein you file a complaint and then the three parties hierarchies does not look into the matter the proper way or probably play deaf ear or probably feel reluctant in terms of looking at it, you can resign or withdraw. You can withdraw from the CPP without no hesitation. So that led the ALP side of it to go. That's the way ALP resigned or probably withdraw in the membership from the CPP because according to him, Bernard Yuri uh, filed a complaint, and then at the time, then chairman, who is the standard bearer of the Unity Party, former, Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai, didn't look into the matter of the railway, so he was disenchanted, and they have to withdraw from the CPP. Now coming to the Unity Party aspect of their withdrawal from the collaborating political parties, Chairman Bailey said their withdrawal from the party was not in accordance. Probably they went against it and they didn't pass through the proper channel to withdraw from the party. They just woke up and went and made a statement that they are withdrawn from the collaboration. And that of which who gave them the rules say when you withdraw from the collaborating political parties, you will not feel candidate in any upcoming elections. So according to Musa Belete, the portion of that law states that. So Unity Party will not fee a candidate in the Lofa County by election. He said he challenged them to fee any candidate. That's the time NEC will get to know or probably will be taken to court because they know that the constitution or probably the laws that govern the collaborating political party, they got portion of it and they know the rules and the penalty when you withdraw from the collaboration. So as it stands, according to him, the Labour Party and the ANC will meet together, and the Unity Party will not feed Kennedy in the Dover County by-election.
Thank you, Abraham. Jensen, do you have any question for Abraham?
Well, I think we just continue to follow initial, as we said, the whole issue that concerned the by-election in River County, we think um, the entire government did not treat the matter very fairly, but they are on board, and history is written. So we'll keep making reference to what happened to Barney Samukai, the matter going to the Supreme Court, decision coming from there, president declaring clemency. And these are all historical facts right now, and we keep following that, and we'll see how they're going to end up. Barney Samukai himself, he did not fight his own battle, and we don't know why he's silent. He probably knows his own reason best. What going to happen therefore, we don't know. So is Barney Samukai going to be declare anything happen? Are they going to arrest him again and put him behind bars? Or the issue of clemency is just, I don't think all of these things are all, you know, certifying the laws of the land, but that's what we have. And those who are there, they are acting, and so we have to just follow suit. So there's no big question about that. If Labour Party want to take part in the election or don't want to take part in the election, it's up to them. I think to be waiting until someone is allowed to go into election on behalf of the Labour Party before you go to court, it's a waste of time. I mean, you want to take an action, now is the time. Why do you want to wait until, you know, it's almost like what we see in Brandon Samuka's
No,
case.
but Mr. Jensen, I mean, one may say, I mean, it is not the appropriate time probably to go to court. They will allow the legendary period to come so closer, and then they want to take the issue. To court.
It's the right of any political party. I mean, they can even file the necessary petition to halt the entire electoral process if they have all of the laws, on their side. There's no time specified for anyone to run to the court. You know, the court will definitely order a halt to the electoral process and listen to whatever petition that will before them. So I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
So, Abraham, if I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say there. Are you saying that Musa Bilete, he's going to be deliberate in his attempt to stall the process of elections, because if he knows what is on the books and he has a complaint already, it's only prudent to file whatever complaint he has now. He don't have to wait until election starts and then file complaint just to start the process. That is a deliberate. I would say it's something that is even lawless, because you
so
already
I
know
think
this is what is
no,
unfolding,
no,
and you
patient and Abraham.
uh,
People have their own strategy, and I don't think if for any reason, quote unquote, chairman of Labour Party wants to wait until the election starts, we just can discuss a matter, but there is no law banning him as to what time you should file a petition before the Supreme Court. You
very
know,
good.
more so, uh, the strategy to go to the Supreme Court, there's a lot of the time is open ended. I mean, anybody can decide what time to file. So we can say it's actually lawless. We know it's not
But
expedient for him to wait until that time, you know. But
another
if he
another
chooses,
thing about it, another thing about it, Mr. Jensen, is that according to him, NEC is informed and have, I mean, portion of the, I mean, have a copy of the rules that govern the CPP. And portion of the rules says if you withdraw with the kind of condition that maybe you feel disenchanted, you file a complaint, and that the issue was not looked into, you can withdraw
okay, we're
the
sorry
and
we lost
yeah,
Abraham
we
over
lost him.
there.
We lost him. Let me just put in this: the
Yeah.
issue of association is a constitutional issue, and any law to the contrary is not involved. A person can associate with any group, a political party can associate. The only concern that I will have is that the CPP collaboration, whatever document before the National Election Commission, if for any reason a political party or they all feel there is no reason anymore for the collaboration and they have the document before the National Election Commission should there are procedures that each of the political parties should follow as to how to get that document undone. So we can follow the situation. As I said, this is a matter that, I mean, a lot of things are going wrong in this whole Samukai election and disqualification. Yeah. So
Okay.
we can proceed with other matter, because that's a situation that we couldn't keep watching and see what
That
goes on.
is another discussion for
Yeah.
another day. We want to go straight into our discussion for today: dual citizenship versus the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and the Republic. My question here this morning, Mr. Jensen, does the laws of Liberia allow dual citizenship? If no, why?
Firstly, let's set the tone for this discussion. The question is very important. But let me go into a little bit of why are we discussing the matter.
Mm,
Dual citizenship and issue of naturalization is not a new debate in the Liberian body politics. Uh, and we have discussed this matter before, right, on this platform. But Liberia is a society, and until some of these issues are clearly dealt with, the matter remains. And as long as Liberia exists, there's going to be an issue of citizenship. But the question is, why dual citizenship? Does the law support dual citizenship? Indeed, the laws of Liberia does not support dual citizenship. And the topic for today to look at the issue of dual citizenship and the Pledge of Liberia. Even the Pledge of Liberia uh, clearly convinces us that people take on citizenship of Liberia when they take an oath, and that oath is clear that you pledge allegiance to the flag of Liberia and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. So that in itself does not allow dual citizenship. But the issue is clearly stated in Article 28 of the Liberian Constitution. And Article 28, if we set the basis for that, says um, any person, at least one of whose parents was a citizen of Liberia at the time of the person's birth, shall be a citizen of Liberia,
Stop.
provided that any such person should, upon reaching maturity, renounce any other citizenship acquired by virtue of one parent being a citizen of another country. And it further says, no citizen of the republic shall be deprived of citizenship or nationality except as provided by law. And no person shall be denied the right to change citizenship or nationality. Now, the issue for which we bring this issue is that recently, to be specific, on Tuesday, there was a debate at the Liberian Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And we followed the debate to which Senator Darius DeLon was heard as saying the Constitution addresses the issue of a person born onto one person, onto a parent, or onto a parent of whom one person is a Liberian.
mhm,
And they believe that the Constitution does not address the issue of both parents being Liberians and having a child, like outside of Liberia. So we just want to be a little clear on this matter before we proceed, that indeed the Constitution addresses the issue of a person, uh, any person whose parent was or is a citizen of Liberia at the time of the person's birth. I think one good phrase that Darius DeLon and Senator Sherman did not take into consideration in understanding that Article 28 addresses the matter of any persons whose parent, meaning both persons, uh, are citizens and having a child and what happened in that case is a phrase that is in Article 28, and that's why constitutional lawyers will read, or people of alien and nationality law, people who are knowledgeable, will read and try to understand important phrases or words in this constitutional provision. So I want all of us to take note of the phrase "at least," and that will satisfy the concern of Senator Sherman and Darrell DeLong. Hope they are listening. When the Constitution says any person, at least one of whose parents was a citizen of Liberia at the time of the person's birth, you know, the word "at least" set the minimum standard. So the framers of the Constitution, and this is advanced English, the framers of the Constitution know very well that two persons make up parent of a person. So discussing the matter of at least one person suggests therefore that the issue of two persons is embedded in this provision. So the Constitution can be read as any persons, at least one of whose parent was a citizen of Liberia at the time of the person's birth, shall be a citizen of Liberia. It can also be read that a person at not at least, let's understand at least refers to one of the parent being a Liberian and the other person not being a Liberian, can be a citizen of Liberia. So by that standard, we know two persons can become a parent. We know three persons cannot be a parent. So at least one of two persons, when one of two persons is a Liberian, that person is a Liberian. That further goes to say that two persons being Liberian, that person being born to two persons being Liberian, that person is also a Liberian. So you cannot say the Constitution did not address the issue of two persons being Liberian and born a child outside of Liberia. That's one important debate in the recommendation of the Judicial Committee before the Senate.
Yeah.
They added or they debated, and I heard Darrell DeLong raising the matter, and I heard Vanish Sherman concurrence with Darrell DeLong, and that this is one of the sticker issues, but it's not a sticker issue. Because when the Constitution says at least, that's the minimum standard. At least we can come on by 7 o'clock. All right, that's the minimum time we can come on by for the program of 2A radio. It means then after 7 o'clock we can still come on. So for at least a person to be a citizen, I mean, if you are born to someone, let's say for example, Abraham Colley, and forgive me for the example, Abraham Colley and Patient Blair Atto are Liberians. The two of them are Liberian. So if they had a child, that child is a Liberian. At least if one of you, is a Liberian, as some patient is an American, Abraham is a Liberian. If two of you have a child, that child is a Liberian. So the Constitution certifies the concern of Senator DeLong and Councillor Vanish Sherman. That's one important issue we want to emphasize here. But let's generally look at the issue of Article 28. What is it all about? Article 28 speaks of the right of any person to renounce citizenship. And what is renunciation? To renounce citizenship is a right accrued to everyone. And this is where I believe, and it is my opinion, that you cannot legislate the right of anyone as provided for under the Constitution, Article 28, the right to decide which nation to be a part of. So the issue of dual citizenship cannot fit in the context of Liberia. The law of Liberia, the primary law, the Constitution, Article 28, to be specific, the last provision in there, the last paragraph says, no citizen of the Republic shall be deprived of citizenship, okay, or nationality, except as provided for by law. That's the second to the last paragraph. That's what it qualifies. All right. And the last paragraph there too says, and no person shall be denied. Underscore that. No person shall be denied the right to change what? To change citizenship or nationality. So if the Constitution says that no person until you can go for a referendum and deal with Article 28, the law is the law. So this provision is clear to the point where you cannot stop any Liberian of becoming a United States citizen, a citizen of Australia, or any other country around the world. Why did the Constitution say that? And what is the intent of the Liberian Senate? This matter went to referendum, and I think Liberians spoke on the matter before. However, the senators or the national legislature has the right to bring as many petition or resolution or decision to repeal or amend. Now, what are they seeking to do? They cannot amend Article 28. Liberians will have to go for referendum. Are the senators seeking uh, to encourage Liberians to go for a referendum again? They should be clear on this matter. Are they revisiting Article 28 with the sole purpose to call for a referendum? I'm not sure that is it. Secondly, I think the senators were seeking to interpret Article 28. Having listened to Senator Dillon and Senator Sherman, and from the Tuesday discussion, I think Prince Johnson pointed out a very good point, and Prince Johnson was right. We cannot do anything about Article 28. Liberians have the right to change citizenship. That's what the Constitution says. So the question of dual citizenship, does it fit within the domain of senators' duty to change this provision and bring about dual citizenship? As we said, the Pledge of Allegiance is clear. And that is one of the civic responsibilities of everyone when we were coming up to learn the Pledge of Liberia. And that pledge encourages everyone to be a Liberian, not to be a Liberian in an American, not to be a Liberian in an Australian or whatever country around the world. So the issue of dual citizenship, as good as it sounds, as we ask ourselves, why are they debating this matter? I still don't understand the rationale. The only rationale I think I understand is that there are individuals who are in government and are faced with these problems. So it becomes a matter to see how they can cure the concerns of these individuals. So also, it's a common sense that some Liberians have decided to take on different nationalities. Is the government of Liberia trying to bring experts back? Is there any program? Is there any interest for which they want to seek for dual citizenship? I would think that they have to be very clear enough to say why are they going for dual citizenship and whether in fact dual citizenship works. And let me say this before we go on. The United States government, if anyone decided to take on citizenship of the United States government, it the government of the US requires everyone to renounce citizenship of another country. So how does it fit into the concern of those who want dual citizenship for Liberia? They have no jurisdiction over the American government or the American immigration laws that says you should go when you file a petition and you must put your hand up to renounce your citizenship. So if Abraham Colley became an American citizen, he denounced the Liberian citizenship as provided for under Article 28. Can he be considered as a dual citizen, even if Liberia did pass the best law, went to referendum, and even changed Article 28? Can the law of Liberia has any bearing on Abraham who has decided to be an American? No, he cannot be considered a dual citizen. The oath, the fight of the matter is the oath of allegiance that Abraham takes. He became a US citizen, he is an American and not Liberian. And even the Constitution of Liberia supports him to make that unilateral decision if he decides. So the issue of dual citizenship, as good as it sounds, I'm still wondering why. But let's look at some of the practical things involved in the Constitution and the statute.
Yeah. Another question here is that what happened when a woman gets married to a Liberian man? Does that automatically qualifies her to be a Liberian citizen?
That's a very good question. If a Liberian woman marries to a Liberian,
Yeah.
is that woman a citizen? Is that
No,
woman?
when a woman
Uh-huh.
taking into consideration a foreigner, someone from somewhere else,
Right.
married a Liberian man. Let me give a typical example here. Like
Uh-huh.
we have the president of the Republic of Liberia.
Right.
He's married to a Jamaican. Does that qualifies her to be a Liberian?
That's a very good question. As I said earlier, indeed, the example that you gave, and it's good that we use the scenario that you spoke about. But indeed, the Constitution, the Statute of Liberia, uh, uh, George Weah's wife is not qualified automatically as a citizen of Liberia by virtue of being married to the president, who is a Liberian. And what is the authority there to? Just a minute. The statute provides answers that question. All right, she's not automatically qualified as a citizen. What the law provides is that she can file a petition to become a Liberian. And if President Weah's wife has not filed that petition and gone through all of the procedures are laid down in the statute, she's not a Liberian. She does not get automatic citizenship by virtue of being married to a Liberian, and not just
So,
uh,
so, Mr. Jensen, my question to this entire thing is this: can that also be vice versa?
Yes.
like
If I mean, like the way mommy said, woman, can that also be reversed to men as well?
Yeah. It-
no, it's not the reverse. I know what you're talking about is that if
hold on there, Jensen. The
uh
reverse he's asking is that if a foreign man marries a Liberian
Good.
woman, that's the
Can
reverse.
they can they be the same thing?
Does that mean he's a Liberian? Does it qualify him to be a
no, he's
Liberian?
not. No, he's not. That you're right. In that
Okay.
sense, you are right. He's not also a Liberian, and particularly so if that man is not a Negro. And let me emphasize that. In the case of even uh, the wife of George Weah, she's a Negro, right? And no disrespect to anybody, the word Negro sometimes is offensive in some contexts. but the word
But
Negro
it's
refers
also
to dark.
it's
Mhm.
also in the constitution. I mean, that's a word
Right,
that they
right,
use there.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other countries, it varies with the person you're speaking to. All right, the word Negro comes from a Latin word mean nigger or those kinds of stuff. So people understand the word differently. And so we have other nationalists listening to us. That's what I thought to emphasize that. So in the case of a Negro, you have a right, a crew, and spelled out in the statute that says that you can file a petition to become a Liberian. Same goes to a woman who is married to a Liberian. You can file a petition, and the petition will be granted by the Attorney General, and there's a long list of things to be done. And some of
Okay.
those things you
I
must be in.
I got a question again, and I want to
Yeah,
understand this. If my mom and my dad are Liberian and they got
right,
married in Liberia and later moved to Japan, or
right,
probably Turkey, and
right,
then they haven't obtained or filing petition or probably getting citizenship or in Turkey, and then
right.
they having to give birth to me. Can I
Right.
be a Liberian or a citizen of Turkey?
That depends on the law of Turkey. If the Turkey's alien and nationality law says the fact when you are born in Turkey, you automatically become a citizen, that's an issue for you. You become a citizen there and then. But since I do not know the Turkey alien and nationality law, uh, in respect to your question of both of your parents be Liberians and born you in Turkey,
Uh,
the law of Liberia considered you
A Liberian.
as a Liberian until the age of maturity, where you will make a decision as to whether you, if and only if the Lord of Turkey considers you a citizen of that country. But at age of maturity, because your birth certificate will indicate that you were born in Turkey, right? So then
yeah.
you being a Liberian by virtue of both of your parents, and that goes to what we were reading in Article 28, all right? That says when at least one of your parents is a Liberian, you are a citizen of Liberia. Your scenario you gave certifies the concern of Senator Dillon and
Chairman.
Senator
Yes.
Sherman
Yeah.
that
That's the point of Putin.
if both of your parents being Liberian and born you in Turkey, it doesn't address that. We telling them that the Article 28 indeed addresses that matter because it says at least if one of them is a Liberian. In your
Okay.
scenario, both of them
I
are
have this
Liberian.
question. I have this questions. This question is almost like Abraham's question.
Right.
All right. I'm using the president of the Republic of Liberia as an
Mm,
example here.
right.
George Weah is a
Right.
Liberian.
Mm,
His wife is a Jamaican.
right.
And they have children or maybe a child that was born in America,
Right.
knowing the laws of America.
Hmm.
Any child born here, automatically they are a citizen
Right.
until maybe at the age of 18 and you can renounce your citizenship.
Right.
So um when it comes to the issue of Liberia, what because sometimes people just leave from here, their children leave from here and go there, and then they want to ascend to a particular positions and or of in governance and all that. If they have not met this condition, do they qualify?
No. Um, the alien and nationality law of Liberia is very clear on that, and there are a long list of things to be done. If you were born in America, like the George Weah situation, if his children are Americans, they are not Liberian by no standard. But if they have reached the age of maturity and they want to be a Liberian, they need to file a petition to be granted. File a petition with the Attorney General's office. and they must be seen. The final stage of that is that they must go to the civil law court and take an oath to be a citizen of Liberia. It's not an automatic thing. It's not because George Weah is a citizen of Liberia and born a child. The Constitution says until you reach the age of maturity, yes, you are a Liberian. That's what the law says. But when you reach the age of maturity, it is your decision to decide whether you are an American or you want to be a Liberian. Now, the issue where people are confusing the matter with dual citizenship, I know these are some of the concerns. All right, is George Weah children being considered in the minds of those who want the law change, or are they looking at his wife and want to change the law? Now, if you cannot look at a particular person when you want to amend a piece of legislation or you want to conduct a referendum to change a provision of the Constitution. The Constitution must be broad-based, and those who making research to, have a change, there must be people who are open-minded and do not use a particular situation, and decide to tamper with the law. And let me say for fact, the Constitution and the Alien and Nationality Law of Liberia is one of the best immigration laws that, if not in Africa, but in West Africa, that law is standardized. That law copied directly after that of the United States government. I study
Let,
immigration
let,
law here, and
let,
I know exactly for fact that's why it is.
let me
So
come
the
in with
same
this. Maybe
procedures that people.
maybe the question coming will be so much complicated for all of you, but I want to understand this.
Right,
My parents are Liberians, and both of them they got married here, traveled, go to another country, and my grandparents rather, and then they gave birth to my mom and my dad, and
right,
then all of a sudden they reach the maturity stage, and then declare that they are a citizen of that country, not Liberia, and they happen to give
right,
birth to me. Am I a
right.
Liberian? Can I be a
That's
Liberian?
that's a very good question, and that's such a question open the mind, right? If your
Yeah,
parent did, your grandparent gave
yeah,
citizenship to your parent in America,
uh-huh.
meaning your grandparent migrated or came to America and they
Uh-huh.
had your parent. The
Yes.
American law says your parent became American by virtue of birth,
Yeah.
right? So then,
Uh-huh.
if they did give birth to you, they were American when they gave birth to you. So automatically, you also, by virtue of the American law, you are an American, not a Liberian. Now,
So so
the issue as to whether you are a Liberian, a
uh,
grandchild of Mr. X who gave birth to Mr. Y,
mm,
and then Mr. Abraham is the grandchild of Mr. X. Is Abraham an American or a Liberian? That's the concern, right?
yeah, because what I'm saying, my grandparents are Liberians. They went to
Yeah.
America. They
Mhm.
gave birth to my both. And, my mom and my dad were also a Liberian too for another, and they got married there. And they declare maybe they reach the maturity stage of
Right.
probably renouncing their citizenship, and
Yeah.
automatically they said they are American.
Right.
So they gave birth to me, and I
Right.
reached the
In
stage
America, right?
yeah, they gave birth to me in America.
Right.
So and I reached the stage I started to ask myself, can I be a Liberian or American? So in that case, am I a Liberian?
You are not a Liberian. There are two reasons. First, you were
My
born
birth.
onto an American.
Uh,
Your parents were American. But let us assume that even your parents did renounce their American citizenship
uh, uh,
and decided to be Liberian after their parent who moved to America gave birth to your parent.
uh,
And at the age of their maturity, they decided to be a Liberian. Let us assume that's the situation.
uh,
When they give birth to you, they become, the law says, you are a Liberian at the time of birth. If they took on Liberian citizenship, Article 28 says that if at least or both were Liberian and gave birth to a child, that child is a Liberian. That's what the Constitution says.
So
So
will it not conflict if my parents denounce their citizenship or probably say they are American and probably I reach a material stage and say I am a Liberian? Will it not bring conflict or will conflict not be I mean in a system?
the clarity is that the two countries are different. American immigration laws are different from that of Liberia. So
Okay.
when you are under the jurisdiction of the United States law holds and is binding on all persons. If your parent took on U.S. citizenship, they are Americans. They are not considered Liberians. In the eyes of those who debating, they may think that you are having dual citizenship.
Of course.
So your scenario is good for the debate because people may be thinking because Abraham's father renounced their citizenship and became Liberian. Abraham was born. Abraham is a Liberian. Indeed, that will the law seems to certify the concern you are raising. But the fact of the matter is, Abraham being born, they fight the American law says when you are born on this soil, you are considered a Liberian citizen, an American citizen, right? So you are considered an American. But when you reach the age of maturity, the statute of the United States, the immigration laws of America also gave you the right to make those
To decide.
decisions at the age of
Okay.
maturity. All right. So indeed, you have a decision to make when you reach the age, to make the decision. So, but not because your parents are Liberian and you being born in America, that means you automatically a dual citizen. No, it doesn't work that way. So, and this is the takeaway. Can America consider you a dual citizen? Even if Liberia did amend Article 28 to clearly state that a citizen born in Liberia, anywhere he goes, whatever he or she takes a citizenship of another country, that person is still a Liberian. And you come to America and you renounce your Liberian citizenship, are you still a Liberian? Well, if you go in the territorial terrain of Liberia and you make a decision, if they decide not to punish you or they decide that you are a Liberian, it's up to them. But mind you, there are certain things you can't do when you are a citizen of America. When you take on the citizenship of America, there are certain things you can't do when you go to Liberia. For example, you cannot participate into an American election and go to Liberia and take part into an Liberian election. When the American people are not going to be running behind you to be tracking everybody as to what they do. But when any issue pop up, you will be judged guilty, and the fact that you took part into an election in Liberia or you took arms to defend Liberia, that automatically disqualifies your citizenship of America. Or by virtue of you just leaving and abandon everything, you pay no taxes, you do nothing here, you live in Liberia for years. When there's some situation where Americans supposed to be defending you, when they get all of the background of what you've been doing, they can make a decision to know whether you are still an American or a Liberian. So it's always good that people follow, the laws governing, citizenship and nationality or naturalization, so that you can be, in a conflict. So the concern
Yes.
is,
That That's it. That's it. That's the point, and I think I've understood the entire thing. Yeah. So
so
I've understood.
so basically these are some of the emphasis we needed to add to the ongoing debate. What is the rationale of the senators? What are they trying to cure? What can it do? Now, let me say this. It may sound like someone who is infusing some different theory, But congressional people went to Liberia recently, and if for any reason the senators were having this mindset, can they in any way discuss with congressional people to have a special consideration for Liberians to take on quote unquote dual citizenship? Americans, Congress can pass a piece of legislation that will consider Liberians to enjoy dual citizenship. If the national legislature in Liberia are so powerful, are so respectful, are considered in the eyes of congressional people, and they feel that this is a traditional issue between the two countries, knowing where our forefathers came from, they can influence Congress to pass a piece of legislation to allow Liberians to enjoy the right under U.S. immigration laws, at the same time enjoy, the rights under Liberian national alien and nationality laws. But the contrary, nothing is done in those regards. I don't see where dual citizenship can actually work. People must do some honorable thing. They can now begin to engage the United States government. These things are not impossible. If you think of it critically, Liberia is like one of the colonies of the United States. It's one of the states of America. All right. We heard the American ambassador asking the question in recent time. J.J. Robert, if he was to come to, it was to be alive today, a U.S. citizen becoming president of Liberia there and then. So an American became president of Liberia. So the same law, the 1847 Constitution existed there and then. So what is good today? Can Liberia be considered as one of the states of America? When you throw those kind of a debate in, people feel like, the issue of sovereignty, becomes a concern. But if you call it for dual citizenship, in a very technical way, you are implying that those who are Liberians can be Americans, right? So can we all begin to negotiate to say, you know what, maybe taking other factors into consideration and allow Liberians to enjoy citizenship of the United States? And that America and Liberia, the government of Liberia and the government of the United States sit on the table and pass a legislation to say, you know what, anyone who is a Liberian must be an American. It is not impossible. And I can emphasize that it's not impossible. It only takes a piece of legislation that can make that happen. In the same vein, it takes individuals with credible and moral standard in the eyes of the American society to begin to consider those matters. Even if it is not a piece of legislation, can the American government relax their immigration laws on Liberia or Liberians? Can there be a special consideration, knowing where we all come from? Liberia has a unique historical tie with the United States. But who has the moral rectitude, the moral ground to begin to knock on the American door and begin to educate them and begin to tell them, look, we were slaves in America. You came in this part of Africa, you bought a piece of land, and then you established this land. Therefore, this land must be given all rights and privileges to enjoy certain immunities. Can those arguments be put forth by senators? Can there be a senatorial delegation to the US Congress and begin to knock their doors and say, hey, we know you have the immigration laws, but this is where we come from? We can cite instances where your sons became president of Liberia. By those virtues, we can say we have the right to enjoy American citizenship. Can there be people who can begin to throw those questions out? And it's not just about sitting in the background and believing that dual citizenship can work. No, it doesn't automatically, neither by petition, work. if there's no legislation from the other country. Now, other people will ask me, what's about Australia? What's about uh, Japan or other countries? Well, I know all of these argument debate is primarily because of Liberians in America and Liberians back home. So, if the issue of dual citizenship must work, the senators or representatives need to take some extra steps to make this happen. Contrary, the law is the law, and Liberia has a very good immigration law. You know, if we don't have the time, but we will have the time, we can compare some of these statutory provisions of the alien and nationality law to that of America and see that they are very similar. Even the procedural steps, you must file a petition with the Attorney General's office, that the immigration office, you must be in the country for 2 years. When you leave the country other than 2 years, your petition is, you abandon your petition, and then you go back to square one, the people don't grant you. So there's a lot to do. So what are the people, Liberians are not following the laws. And that's what the problem is. For example, we brought George Weah's wife in the picture. She's supposed to file a petition. So if I go to the civil law court today, cannot see a copy of that petition where she filed to become a Liberian citizen. If she did not file a petition, she's not a Liberian. So is there a lawyer that told George Weah these facts? To where he will say, okay, you know what, my wife, she had to file a petition. Or is there someone else who misinterpreted the law to George Weah, saying the father you are a Liberian, you became president, your wife is a Liberian? No, the law doesn't say that. So it's important that those who are legal minds close to the president, it's not about favor, it's not about winning some favor, it's about saying what the law is to the president so that he can be guided. The wife of George Weah take an oath at the civil law court. Is that a record? If there's no record, she's not a Liberian. No disrespect, but that's the law. All right, I don't have the time to give you all of the information, but what I'm saying is what the law says. She needed to take an oath. Same goes to George Weah's children. If he had children outside of Liberia and they became citizens of other countries, and he's president, those children were Liberian at the time they were under 18. But when they passed that age, at the age of maturity, they needed to file a petition to become a Liberian. Are they? Have they done that? If they haven't done that, they are not Liberians. So we just thought to emphasize something. Not only George Weah, but all other persons who may find themselves in the category and they need to file a petition. And I'm not sure, maybe Abraham, we need to send it to the civil law court to check on some of these records.
Do research.
Yeah, do research.
But,
Is the civil law court having a petition over there? Did they administer an oath? On what day did they administer an oath to Claude Weah? To which she's, or Claude Weah has not decided yet to be a Liberian.
Maybe she chose not to be a Liberian citizen. Maybe she chose not to be a citizen.
It is her right. Yes, it is her right.
But at the same time, Claire Weah has, she has an organization. Is that organization registered as of, like under of foreign ownership?
Those are the questions. And there
if
are
she's not
privileges.
a Liberian and she has an organization, that means it should be an international organization.
If she has property even in Liberia, and she's not a Liberian, those are issues that can be challenged tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot of
so we can say this is a free legal advice for them to make things right. They haven't done what is on the book. So maybe Abraham, maybe we'll have to send you at the civil law court, not just for these people, but to make some sort of research whether in fact the civil law court has been administering oath to people who have decided to be Liberian. But right, this should be a ceremony that all Liberians should be aware of.
Yeah.
Especially so when
you publish in the newspaper. Oh.
Yes. In America, when people decide to be citizens, in fact, nobody in America that became a naturalized citizen that doesn't have that little file with them. So the civil law court should have the record, and maybe we'll send you there. You go and ask the judge how many persons for the last few years, became naturalized Liberian. You can go. Yes. The petition first must be filed to the office of the Attorney General. That means the Minister of Justice. The Minister of Justice should have the record there. If they don't have a record there, then they themselves are very deceptive to the current administration. I want to be clear on that. That if they don't have record on Clark Weir's citizenship, they are not treated
I
George
want
Weah
to ask a
fairly.
question. I don't know. Abraham, did
Yeah.
Claire vote the last time during the election?
Uh, uh, I may not be
He can
hundred
say,
percent
he can
correct.
say, he can
You
say, but
Yeah,
can't
I
that's a
may
say,
very
not
good
be.
question.
okay.
That's a very good
But
question.
yeah, maybe we need to find out. Oh, because if you're not a citizen, you're 14. I mean,
Right, right,
that's criminal
Yeah.
act.
right, right. And that's a very
So
good question.
I
And so Abraham can follow up on these things. And Abraham, no disrespect to anybody, and you only go to ask these questions. And no disrespect to George. We know he's an honorable man. He's the president of Liberia, but he should be the number one president who took an oath to uphold the constitution and laws of the republic. So we'll give you an
uh,
example, and his wife name come in the picture. No disrespect to any of them. We just think that if there's no doubt that Claudia has filed a petition, that she has done what the law says. It's just a matter of following up to know whether indeed these are the issues. And not just Claudia, there are many other persons in Liberia who may fall in this category. So when you go and ask, it's not just cloud we're going to ask for. We just first thing is we want to discuss other things. What are some of the things that the Justice Ministry have done in the last few years? You know, yeah. So basically today, I think it was a good day, and we just
Yeah.
throw light on the senators, and the senators themselves. We tell them, hey, we must have a purposeful discussion. Why are you discussing this matter? I think Carlos Delon has a son in America too, right? Is he a Liberian or is he an American? Is this some of the reasons why some of the debates are coming up? So not just Joshua, we can also look into the Senate. There's some of those people who have their children in America. Are they citizens of Liberia, or are they Liberian? If they are Liberian, have they filed the necessary petition that grant them the right of citizenship? You know, I read a piece of document before. Anyway, let me leave that out because that has to do with somebody who was president before is not president again. You know, but yeah. So as we read on, we keep following this development and see whether Liberia is on course with the laws of the republic.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Abraham, and thank you, Jensen. Abraham, is there anything you want to say before we close in 30 seconds?
I just want to tell the Anthony thank you. I understand. Maybe somebody will carry me. My mom go America, she go Jamaica. One of you. But I
Right.
understand it was good. It was good to enlighten the minds of those who had the kind of doubt and needed some clarity. So it's a free information. They can take it and use it. Work with it as well. So uh, thanks to you, thanks to the CEO, and thanks to those who was watching us. It was nice being on today's edition of Inside Liberia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jensen, your closing remark in
Well,
30 seconds.
we just want to say first. Let's say thanks to two of you. This platform is for everybody. Those who think the contrary of what we have said, they can contact you and they can come and get their voices heard. Liberia's democracy and the reason for uh, uh, those who created this kind of a platform is for information purposes. If you have knowledge, share it because when you die, you become silent. Anything inside you go to the ground. So share your information. If you think otherwise, and that's why I like uh, the law. You know, Liberia has an adversary system. You know, somebody says something that maybe I'm saying stupidness, come and prove for the contrary. What I'm saying here is clearly in line with the Constitution and the alien and nationality laws. So thank you so much. It was a pleasant time being with you all and with all of our listeners. We say thank you for watching. It's good to be part of us every day.
Thank you. Thank you. And we want to say thank you to our viewers. It was good having you with us. And those that will watch the broadcast after, thank you so much and continue sharing. And we will be here again on Monday for another edition of Inside Liberia. Today, I was your presenter, and my name is Patience Lee.